My sister-in-law licked my face and now my brother is not talking to me. Alright. I'm sorry for the title, but that's as concise as I could be about it. I am 22M and my brother is 28M. He's been engaged to his fiancée for a few months now. She is 24. My brother's fiancée is your typical spoiled party girl, and TBH so is my brother. In the last year or so, my brother and I have had a strained relationship. This is mostly due to differences of opinion when helping take care of our mom, who is struggling with some PTSD, anxiety. She got held hostage by a man at her job, is still recovering and not back to work yet. For some context, my brother is a very impatient and opinionated person who struggles to see things outside his own perspective. He doesn't have a good grasp on mental health. He is easily persuaded by what he reads online, gets caught up in conspiracy theories. And I noticed COVID, the pandemic kind of exacerbated all of this. I work as a paramedic and he's been arguing with me about thinking I know better than him ever since. I am adopted and my bio mom was of a different ethnicity, so we don't look like brothers. When he can't think of a way to win an argument he brings up the fact that I'm not her real son or his real brother. It wasn't always like this between us, which is sad. He's just not the same person and I'm not sure if it's work stress, life stress, or what. I get that this post is going to be skewed by my perspective but I'll try to be objective when it comes to the conflict. My birthday was last weekend, when this happened. My brother's fiancée apparently had the idea to throw me a surprise party. Most of the people there were friends of my brother and the fiancée. Everyone was drunk. They made a bit of a show of bringing me out a cake and having me blowing out the candles. Before I did that, my brother's fiancée swiped frosting on her finger and put it on my cheek. I thought it was just her being nice and not trying to smash a piece of cake in my face. I blew out the candles and after I did that, his fiancée grabbed my face and licked it. Like. From my jaw all the way up the side of my face. I have no idea why she did this. We don't even have the kind of relationship where it would be funny. My brother's face changed, his demeanor changed, he became very withdrawn and irritable. They were seen, quietly, fighting and he ended up just leaving the party. I brought it up the next day to make sure he was okay and apparently the two of them made up, it's me he has an issue with. I don't know what she told him, but it seems as if I'm the one being made out to be flirting with her, wanting her, etc. Not even remotely true. I told him to leave me out of his relationship problems. It's his partner who disrespected him and embarrassed him. He's angry at the wrong person. I refuse to apologize. Apparently I am going to be out of the wedding unless I do. He's upset because I won't admit to my mistake. Well, I don't feel like I made one. Should I just do it for the sake of settling it? Normally I'm willing to be the bigger person but this is a false accusation I don't want attached to myself. AITAH. Edit, info has she flirted in the past? I never thought about it actually and nothing really sticks out. She's obsessed with K-pop and I am half Korean so she's made comments to me but I didn't interpret them as flirting, I thought she was just trying to be nice and didn't know how else to connect when I shared about the whole being adopted thing. When she's sober she is more awkward, shy. My brother lives with my mom so usually when I visit and we're talking. My mom and brother are around too and it's more of a family vibe. Update 2. After trying to reach out to my brother he finally came around and stopped ignoring me. He didn't want to talk about what happened but was willing to put it behind us. TBH I think talking about it would have been healthier but I decided to let it go because he was so adamant. Then just the other day he came to me on his own and admit that he feels unsure about his relationship and is struggling to trust his fiancée ever since the incident on my birthday. I told him there's no rush to get married and he should take time to figure out what he's feeling. I didn't try to give any particular opinion because I feel like this is something he needs to figure out for himself, also, I genuinely don't know what's going on between them. He still took what I said the wrong way somehow, and we ended up having an argument. He thinks I'm not happy for him and don't want to see him successful, starting a family. I tried to walk away at this point in the conversation because no matter what I said it was just going to get misconstrued, but he didn't want to stop fighting. Somewhere in that, I finally learned why he's so mad at me these days. It turns out he's pissed that our mom paid for my tuition. I've been doing OT to pay her back. Clarification: if it matters, she doesn't actually want me to pay her back. It was a gift, but I'd like to pay her back slowly. My brother feels this money should have been given to him for his wedding, which I am no longer invited to. I don't really know how to fix things, but that's where we're at. Update 3. My mom and brother got into it over the weekend. I have accepted being uninvited from my brother's wedding, but our mom wasn't having it. She was trying to understand where his anger is coming from. The problem is, I don't think he knows, and having conversations where he's questioned about it just makes everything worse. I wasn't present. It's something my mom called me about. Apparently after his explosion at her, he stormed out into the cold, without shoes. She got worried. I have realized that I'm not the person he wants to see in those moments, or the person he wants to receive help from. I want to be that person, and I'll always be available in the background, but somehow I've become part of his problem. My presence only ever fuels his anger. For that reason, I told my mom to contact his fiancée, and she did. Fiancée brought him back to the house, and my mom didn't mention the wedding, or anything else. She told me today that they've started talking normally to each other again. I've also talked to my mom privately. I've made it clear that I'm not attending and she should give up on having me there. She initially wanted to threaten her own attendance, but we decided that she should support my brother in hopes of leaving a line of communication with at least one family member. My mom is really heartbroken. I thought about contacting his fiancée, then decided against it. Reading a lot of the comments I received, many of you pointed out that I need to stop trying to fix things. Some people took it too far and wrote me violent little DMs because the last line of the previous update made them feel some type of way, but I've had people in the back of my truck say and do a whole lot worse. It takes a lot more than some words on a screen. But I get it. And I will acknowledge it actually, that I think that's one of my biggest flaws. The need to fix things. I won't get into why I'm like this. I probably need therapy of my own given the lengths I'll go to, and how maladaptive it sometimes gets. Anyway. Promise I'm not fixing this. As far as updates go, this is probably my final one. I'm bowing out of my brother's downward spiral. It's the only thing I can do for him right now anyway. The rest I will deal with personally in time. I came on here for some perspective and I feel like I've gotten that. So thank you. Update 4. Title: I'm burning out. I'm 22M. I work as a paramedic in NYC. The pay isn't great here and the call volume is overwhelming. I recently had a very traumatic call and I can't stop thinking about it. Last year I got scouted for modeling, which I did on the side but made only around $12,000. Not enough to quit my day job, and that isn't necessarily my goal, but it helped me take on less OT. Other than that, I've thought about becoming a flight medic for the significant bump in pay, but all roads feel like they lead to further burnout. I'm constantly running on empty. Night shifts are brutal for me. I think about leaving my job all the time, and yet I work so much that I am simultaneously locked in, which leaves no room to think about alternatives. I try to convince myself it's just the weather. That spring is around the corner, and as it warms up, I'll probably cheer up soon. Maybe this weight I have in my chest will lift, or at least become less heavier. I keep thinking of relocating to work the same job somewhere in the PNW. Or maybe another career. I have some savings set aside for a degree. Someone told me all my hobbies are too adrenaline heavy, and maybe that's contributing something to the way I feel. I never saw it like that though. I also have a brother who struggles with addiction. He was recently diagnosed with BPD. He has had 2 overdoses in the last month and a half. His wife keeps finding ways to dissuade him from treatment programs. The second OD occurred on a day pass she was an escort for. I am no contact with my brother and his wife, and I'm low contact with my mom, who I have a good relationship with, but she lives with my brother. Unfortunately, when my mom reaches out to me desperate for my help, I feel like I have to respond. I don't know why I made this post, I don't even have a clear question to ask you guys, but I'm just wanting some kind of an objective outsider opinion, what you would do in my shoes. Update 5. Title: AITAH for wanting to leave my family and move across the country. I've, 22M, been low contact with my mom for months now because I'm no contact with my brother, 29, and both him and his wife live with her. In an ideal world, I would be able to maintain a good relationship with my mom, but it's really hard to have that right now. My brother has had 2 overdoses in the last 2 months or so. He's spiraling so fast. Any attempts at treatment are rebuked by his wife, but she'll show up at my door to cry and try to convince me to drive her around and go looking for him. He has tried to use my identity to commit fraud. Luckily the activity got flagged by my bank. He also attempted to sign up on a gambling site using my information. He was so desperate for money around New Year's that he stole the battery from my motorcycle. My mom calls me in crisis all the time requesting for help in dealing with my brother. Sometimes I'll think she's calling just for me and I'll almost share something only to find out she was just making polite conversation before she could work up the courage to ask for my help. I work as a paramedic, so between work and my family, it feels like I never get a break. I have never shared my feelings with them, or anyone really. I just know I'm reaching my limit. A friend of mine has encouraged me to move in with him and split rent. I told my mom when she found out I sold my motorcycle. She didn't take it well. She said I was their lifeline. She told me if I leave, I should be ready to live with the fact that I will be letting my brother die and that I'm abandoning them during a time of hardship. The thing is, I still want to go. What do you think? Tell us in the comments. Like the video and hit the subscribe button for more Reddit stories.